Hi, this is Lee Phillips. I'm an attorney. I want to talk to you about kind of a thorny issue in asset protection. That's the personal residence. How do you protect your personal residence? And of course, you'd like to protect your personal residence because you don't want to be out on the street. Well, I've had a lot of people come to me and say, okay, we know how to do it. What you do is you move the personal residence into an LLC. And the LLC gives a great asset protection. We've talked about that in other YouTubes. But once you move the personal residence from your ownership into the LLC's ownership, guess what? It's not your personal residence anymore. You're living in a commercial piece of property owned by a company. And there are a number of issues associated with that. One, your personal residence is one of the dozen or so tax shelters left in the IRS code. You remember you get to deduct the interest, you live in it 2 out of 5 years, tax-free, when you sell, blah, 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 blah. It's a tax shelter. As soon as you move it to the LLC, it's no longer your personal residence. The IRS looks at it as a commercial property. Guess what? The state taxes, you know, the property taxes, they're almost 3 times in many cases on a commercial property as they are on a residential property. So you just increased your property taxes by 3 times. 1. 2, the risk associated with a commercial property is a lot higher than the risk associated with a residential property. So guess what? Your property casualty insurance type stuff just tripled when you moved it from you to the LLC. So I don't think it's a good idea. How do you protect it then? Well, your first line of defense is to get that big umbrella policy, insurance policy, you know, protected, fire, casualty, all that stuff. That's actually good asset protection for your personal residence. Do it. Spend the extra $500 and get the deluxe policy. It's worth it. Second, ownership. Who owns the piece of property? The personal residence. Well, husband and wife own it, joint tenants. Or tenants by the entirety if you're in the right state, but husband and wife own it. Love has nothing to do with property ownership. Just remember that. If the wife is going to be the OBGYN, or start the little business, or do the real estate deals, or whatever it is, she has the risk. He's a professor at the university. No way he's ever going to get sued. So we'll move property out of the joint relationship over into his sole ownership. Now the property is in his ownership. If she gets sued, she's the OBGYN, she gets sued, they can't come get his property. This works really well in a lot of the states. If it's a common law state, husband and wife property can be separated. If it's a community property state, and there are a dozen or so community property states, then the husband and wife are considered one economic unit. And community property is another YouTube webinar too, or YouTube video. But they're one economic unit. We can't separate their property, at least not easily. So, common law state, let's control where the ownership is. Couple of nuances. 1, I don't want to just put it in his name. I want to put it in his living revocable trust, so that when he dies, she doesn't have to probate the house that she's living in. The trust does not give any asset protection. That's another YouTube video that we've got. Trusts don't give asset protection. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, my living revocable trust gives me asset protection. No, has the word revocable in it. So the fact that it's in the trust doesn't give it any more asset protection, but it makes it so that she doesn't have to probate the house if he dies. Or when he dies, I guess it isn't an if. So that's an important aspect. The other aspect of it is he's a stay-at-home husband. He doesn't work. He doesn't make a dime. and he takes care of the kids. That's fine. She does that in many cases in the families. He does it in less. But how do we claim that it's his property if she's making all the money? Well, when she gets the $10,000 check for her wage every month, she takes that money, puts it in her account, and then cuts him a check for $9,000, whatever it is. He makes the house payments, he pays the taxes, he pays the insurance, he does everything out of the check that she gives him. He's a kept man. And if he has any money left over, fine, it's his. It's in his account. She doesn't sign on it. That would be in his trust account. She doesn't sign on it. But that money is now his. The courts have looked at that and say, yep, the fact that he's the stay-at-home, he takes care of the kids, he takes care of the house, that has value, and she paid for it. It's his money. He pays for the house. It's his house. So that eliminates that argument. So we've got insurance that we can use, and we've got playing the trick of who owns it, and we divide between husband and wife. One more thing. A lot of states have what are called a Homestead Act. 2 states, Florida and Texas, have 100% homesteads. You can't take away my house that I have in Florida or Texas. It's protected by state laws from all of my creditors, my bankruptcies, everything I do. You can't get it. You pay a higher mortgage in those states because even the mortgage company has a hard time getting it back. Good protection. Most states have somewhere between like $60,000 and a couple of $100,000 in homestead protection. Well, that still could be a pretty good deal because, yeah, it's a $400,000 house, but I've got a $350,000 mortgage on it. So I only have to protect, what, $50,000. A $60,000 homestead would protect that piece of property. It's not in the state's best interest to have you and your family out on the street. So they give you a little leg up, protect your personal residence. They usually protect clothing and that sort of stuff that you might have, personal effects. So the homestead, the insurance, and the who owns it trick are really about the only ways that you can protect your personal residence. This is Lee Phillips. I've been talking about how to protect a personal residence.